Hey, what's up SRL fans, and welcome to round 5 of season 3 of the International GT3 Championship. I'm Sandro Doulis and today I'll be your commentator. Obviously, usually it's Scott Sander over here in my seat, but unfortunately today he couldn't make it, so I had to take his place. Today we'll be racing at Oschersleben in Germany. It's a first race in SRL. SRL has never raced at Oschersleben before, so will be interesting to see how the drivers feel on this very difficult and technical circuit. Overtaking will be difficult, and I think most of the position changes will be made through mistakes. So we'll definitely have to look out for those. Currently still waiting on a few drivers to join, and then we'll get the 10-minute qualifying session on the way. So sorry for being so quiet at the moment. I'm currently just setting up the stream, so we'll have an uninterrupted broadcast of this race today. So I just got the information. We are about to start. So it will be an 8-driver grid today, and that's definitely enough to see some good action on track at this very historical track for German auto racing. Obviously, always in the International GT3 Championship, we'll have to look out for weather. It would be interesting to see if we get some rain. Currently, it looks like it's going to be a cloudy qualifying session at least. And there we go. It looks like it's going to be dry for the moment, which I definitely know the drivers will be very happy about. And looks like the first drivers are going out on track now, and we'll pick up championship leader Max Mulder in the Audi. If everything goes right for the Dutchman today, he can win the International Season 3 Championship today. For that, he needs to win this race and have to hope for Samuel Brandt to finish outside the top 6. So unfortunately we can hear Nick van Gelder here talk in the background right now. I'm quickly going to hit him up to tell him that he needs to turn off in-game. And on the bottom right we can see Christian Dorman got a 1-place grid penalty for a pit lane infringement. So it seems like he either sped on pit lane or crossed the white line on the exit. No laps have been set so far. Drivers got 8 minutes left in the session. Currently still looking at Christian Dorman, the German, in his first ever SRL season. He's been really impressive. He's impressed me a lot with his upwards trend in pace. His learning curve is very steep, and he's definitely someone to look out for future seasons. So a really exciting young prospect there in the McLaren, taking on his qualifying lap now. Takes a really wide line through there and runs out wide into the grass. Maybe even Dirty Air could have played a role there, because we obviously see the Ferrari of Samuel Brandt there right in front of him, who also goes off track. As you can see, drivers are already struggling with this new racetrack. It's new for everyone. Nobody has raced here before, especially in SRL racing, so it's definitely something new for everyone here today. And the bollard flies away. Someone already took out the bollard, and we got the first lap in from Logan Orand in the Ferrari, Samuel Brandt's teammate. As we can see, Nick van Gelder currently waving the American bye. Logan Orand, who has shown pace, but a lot of inconsistency so far this season. Let's see if he can change his luck around for the second half of the GT3 Championship. Leon Stahl also set a lap time. You can see the Dutchman in the Acura. Takes a nice and quick line through the very fast chicane. Super difficult, that one. We'll definitely have to look out through the chicane to see if we see some mistakes, even spins happening there. Definitely the most difficult and challenging corner on this racetrack. Nick van Gelder still without a lap time. He's going through the final corner now. He's stuck behind the Ferrari of, I think that's Samuel Brandt. Must be. And Van Gelder goes on his flying lap now. Heartbreaking for turn 1. We are running the old configuration. Well, old and new. Obviously they went back to the old layout in real life, I think 3 years ago. After the current layout we are running was criticized a lot by drivers. Unfortunately, here in Project Cars 2 they don't have that layout, so we'll have to stick with the very tight first chicane as Nick van Gelder runs the right-hand side tires off the racetrack into the grass. You can do that every now and then. It will only cost you a few thousands, I'd say, but you definitely shouldn't do it that many times because there's absolutely no grip out there and you can easily lose it. Samuel Brandt moves up to P2, still second off Logan Oran though. As we can see, the Dane going through turn 1, he's definitely on a cooldown lap and he's going back into the pits, I imagine. Yes, he is. So he'll stick on some new fresh tires and go back out on track. Nick van Gelder is the only driver so far to be without a lap time. So he'll definitely be looking to change that. As he sets a 1 minute 31.7, that puts him into P6, only ahead of Christian, but Christian hasn't put in a respective lap time yet. He's 7 seconds off the pace, so that lap time must have been with a mistake. Samuel Brandt has left the pits again. It's a really quick outlap by Brandt. And we can see Nick van Gelder being a little bit in his way here. Luckily that's Sam Brandt's outlap, so it won't be that difficult, as we can see him warming up his tires aggressively. So he's definitely got to put some temperature in those Michelin tires. And Van Gelder waves him by, and we'll hop on board with Samuel Brandt now for that flying lap. Can he beat the 1 minute 28.0 by Logan Oran, his teammate? Onto the main straight. Full speed, top speed. Go into turn 1, hard braking from 150 meter board. Hit the apex on the inside. Don't use that big sausage curb, that red and black sausage curb. Swing it back into that long right-hander. Keep it on the inside and let the car go towards the outside. Carry all that speed through the section. Brake just behind that advertisement board. Keep it clean. Use a bit of the grass on the inside. That's fine. Run it out wide. Don't go on that curb. Now into this chicane. It's a quick chicane. Double left. And then the flick into the right, another long right-hander. It's a lot of long corners here on this track. The tires are screaming for mercy. Overheating into the quick chicane. Quick flick to the right, to the left, and another long right turn. The left-hand side tires are overheating at that point. So far so good by Samuel Brandt. Onto another straight here. Braking just before the board. Another... yeah, kind of chicane. He's not using all the space he got there. Into 90-degree left, and now into the final corner. Just brake before the pit entry. Uses a very, very long entry into the corner to get a good run onto the main straight. Let's see what Brandt can do. It's 28.8. That's still 8 tenths of Logan Oran. But Samuel can still do another lap time here. Dion Starr currently sitting in P3. Max Mulder, championship leader, only in P4. He's coming through the final corner now. Let's see if he can improve on his 1 minute 29.5. What's it going to be? It's P3. At least P3 for Max Mulder. But those two Ferraris seem to be in another league today. At least on one lap pace, the Ferrari seems to be dominant. Samuel Brandt is still on run though. Jensen Randall, really poor qualifying session by the Brit. I definitely had him as my pick for pole position, and he's only down in P5 as Samuel Brandt runs wide into the grass, and that's his lap done. That's definitely a surprise. He's also sitting in the pit, so I imagine Jensen Randall must have made a mistake going off track. But yeah, this is everyone through. So it's going to be a Ferrari 1-2. Not usually would say a red front row, but in this case it's a blue front row with the two blue colored Ferraris of Logan Orant and Samuel Brandt. So we got Logan Orant on pole position ahead of Samuel Brandt. Then it's championship leader Max Mulder, who can win the championship today, ahead of Dion Stahl, Jensen Randall, Nick van Gelder and Christian Dorman. So remember, this is a 1.5 hour race, so 1 hour and 30 minutes of full GT3 racing. Currently the drivers are just making some changes to their strategy and possibly setup, so we'll be going here in a second. Logan Orant on pole position. Logan Orant has had a really tough season so far. The first half of the season has been quite tough for him. He's had 2 retirements. He's actually retired in the last 2 races as Nürburgring and Spa. Obviously, in the Spa 2.4 hours, the American had a massive crash on lap 3, going up a Rouge. He started off the season strong with 2 podiums, but as I just said, he need to finish first to get a good finish, so he'll be looking to turn that around. He did everything he could in qualifying, taking pole position, but we know key to being good in this championship is being clean and keeping it clean, not making a lot of mistakes. So the American will definitely be looking to keep it clean today. Samuel Brandt, P2 in the championship. He needs a good finish today to to stay in the running for this title. He's currently let me look that up. I don't have the points cap in my mind right now. Yeah, Samuel Brandt is currently sitting 12 points behind Max Mulder, who's starting from P4. As the drivers get moving now, through the final corner we go. It's a Ferrari 1-2 at the start of the race, but let's go racing for 1.5 hours at Oschersleben. It's a great start by the outside Ferrari of Logan Orant, but Samuel Brandt got the inside and preferred line going to turn 1. The Ferraris are too wide and they both go off, and it's a spinner behind. It's Jensen Randall. The Acura of Dion Stahl takes avoiding action, but it's Max Mulder who's now in second place. Samuel Brandt went off and lost the most positions of the 2 Ferraris. Logan Orant remains in the lead despite going off track. But now Max Mulder goes for the inside move into the long left-hander. Logan Orant tries to stick it on the outside. They make some wheel bang, some contact. That's great sports car racing. Max Mulder still on the inside. He got the preferred line going to this corner. Next corner is another right. Logan Orant keeps it tight on the outside though, and he's going to have the inside line. Here's Max Mulder, goes off into the gravel and spins. As he saw another spinner behind, I think that was Christian Dorman, and Max Mulder, championship leader, drops to P6. Cold tires probably went into the mouth as we see Samuel Brandt off the track. These drivers are struggling a lot with cold tires as there's some contact between the Audi of Nick van Gelder and Samuel Brandt. Yet, it's still, once again, a Ferrari 1-2 after all of that. But Nick van Gelder got the preferred line going into this left 90-degree corner, and Nick van Gelder moves up into P2 after starting 6th. Wow, what a first lap. And after all of this, Logan Orand is leading by almost 3 seconds. Max Mollak was going for all of it. He wanted that lead because he knows how difficult it is to overtake on this track after turn 1 and lap 1. But he wanted too much on cold tires, ran a little bit wide onto the dirt, onto the dirty side of the track, and lost it and spun into the gravel. Just before that happened, I saw in the background someone spinning, and I don't think it was Christian Dorman. I think it might have been Jensen Randall there. So 2 heavyweights in really bad positions after lap 1. They need to rebound if they want to have another talk in this race, but who definitely is going to like that is Samuel Brandt, because his 2 championship rivals, Max Mulder and Jensen Randall, are way behind. Dion Stahl is sticking with that group of 2, which is impressive because the Acura has been, let's put it kindly, not performing really well this season so far. As Nick van Gelder runs wide for the chicane, Sarah Brandt has a look to the outside, and can he get that move done? No, Nick van Gelder spins. He took too much of the curb and just about keeps it off the wall. Wow. There was a lot of luck involved there. That Nick van Gelder kept it out of the wall, as he now still stays ahead of his teammate Max Mulder, but Van Gelder drops to P5 after running 2nd. He took that inside sausage curb, and especially on the beginning of a run, when those cars are heavy and the tires are still a bit cold, as Christian Dorman misses his braking point, so does Nick van Gelder. And now Christian Dorman comes back on track and is obviously slow, and that's going to be helpful for Max Mulder, who now takes the position of both of them. So 2 positions gained there for Max Mulder. And Christian Dorman and Nick van Gelder definitely struggling, and there's some contact between the 2 Audis. You don't want to do that, that's your teammate. Nick van Gelder chooses wisely and sticks behind Max Mulder. Yeah, these drivers are struggling with the cold tires, definitely. And braking for turn 1 seems to be really difficult, but that's not a surprise because turn 1 is so difficult on this track. You basically got no space. It's a super tight corner and you're coming from a long straight with heavy braking, so definitely one of the most difficult corners on this. As there's big crash behind, it's Christian Dorman and Jensen Randall. I think Dorman lost it on the outside and Randall was next to him, and yeah, Jensen Randall was just a victim. And both of these cars have damage. Christian Dorman got some front end damage. Jensen Randall seems like he got some front end damage as well. Christian Dorman definitely seems to have the worst damage though. Let's see if he enters the pit lane for repairs. No, he stays out. Jensen Randall has to pit though, so probably some suspension damage for the Brit. And it's a tough break and tough blow for Jensen Randall's championship hopes. Wow, early drama for the Brit. After winning Spa 2 weeks ago, he's now into jeopardy really early on. Obviously, really unlucky situation there. I think Norman just got very loose on the outside curb, and then Jensen Randall was on the inside, had nowhere to go and nowhere to avoid the spinning McLaren. As we can see Dion Stahl putting pressure on Sam Brandt. I'm really surprised to see that, because the Acura has been a really uncompetitive car so far this season. We've seen Dion Stahl and myself, Sandro Doulis as well, struggle a lot through the season, which wasn't really what we expected going into the season, because the Acura proved to be a really solid car last season, and Stahl and myself, Doulis, have done a good job in these GT3 cars through the last 2 seasons. So it was really difficult to drive that car and to know that you're uncompetitive. it's a lot of motivation, because going into the race, you obviously always want to win. That's just a racing driver's mentality. But if you are in a car that's uncompetitive, it's getting really difficult to stay motivated. But Dion Stahl has impressed me a lot so far this race. He's sticking with the definitely quicker Ferrari as... Oh, yeah, Stahl jumps the inside sausage curb there. But Stahl so far keeping with the P2 car. And is currently in the podium position, and due to all the spins and mistakes, already 9 seconds ahead of Nick Herler is running fourth. Talking about big gaps, looking around, comfortably leading by 7 seconds. He's done exactly what I said before the race so far. He's kept it clean, no mistakes, and that's what you want in this, endurance championship. That's what endurance racing is all about. And his teammate Brandt is definitely doing him a favor, because I think at the moment Dion Stahl might be the quicker driver. Let's check on everybody's fuel load here. We can see Samuel Brandt is running what looks like a full tank. It's definitely going to be a one-stop race, so he's definitely going to be going long here early on. Logan Around is running a really light car, so that definitely explains the pace advantage he's having over Samuel Brandt and everybody else on this racetrack. Obviously Samuel Brandt being in the same car. So he's running a different kind of strategy towards his teammates. So Logan Around will be one of the first ones to stop here, I imagine. Dion Stahl not quite running a full tank, but definitely a heavy car. Nick van Gelder running full tank. So is Max Mulder, both Audis running 109 liters at the moment. Christian Dormund, full tank as well. And yeah, Jensen Randall obviously just went into the pits. He's currently running 1 lap down after repairing that crash damage. As Dion Stahl goes for a move down the inside of Samuel Brandt. Did Samuel Brandt wave him by there? Or, oh, Samuel Brandt goes for the switchback move around the outside. Wow, impressive move from Samuel Brandt, but that looked really weird. Did Samuel Brandt miss a shift there? Or because it definitely looked like he slowed in the straight line. Odd situation there between those two. But Samuel Brandt is back in P2 after losing it for 1 corner. As I was just looking at the timetable, and I can see that Samuel Brandt took a wide line left through turn 3 that had Dion Stahl look down the inside now again. And now he makes the move stick. Samuel Brandt goes for the switchback again though. That's some great racing between those two. But Dion Stahl carried more speed off the corner and takes P2. Nice battle between those two, and I don't think this is going to be the last overtaking maneuver between those two drivers, as Dion Stahl just took out 2 bollards. Oh, that Acura is not handling well. You could see that Dion Stahl had to, steer in twice there for that corner. Got a little bit loose there on the inside. I was just when that battle started again, I was looking at the penalties, as we can see that Samuel Brandt and Dion Stahl already got 1 second worth of time penalties. With those big gaps at the moment, that's not a big of an issue, but going toward the end of the race, if we have some close battles on track and you got penalties, this could definitely be race deciding. Jensen Randall also has a penalty actually, as Jensen Randall is currently definitely a lap down. Quickest car on track by 2 seconds currently, Logan Around, which is not surprising considering he's running a really light car so far this race. He'll also be stopping quite early on, as Samuel Brandt is sitting in that slipstream of Dion Stahl. Oh, it's so interesting to see how both drivers, take that turn 1, because you can see that the actual of Dion Stahl is always moving on the braking going to turn 1, so you can definitely see that he's braking super late for that turn. He's on the edge of missing the corner, but that's exactly how you need to drive on this track, how you need to enter that corner, just on the edge. Logan Around is doing what he needs to do on this strategy. He's built up his gap to over 10 seconds. At this stage of the race, he needs to build a gap that he can, rely on and lean on when he has to pit early and run a really heavy car through the second half of this race. The gap is now up to 12 seconds. Unfortunately missed. That's my bad. Unfortunately missed Samuel Brandt going back past Dion Stahl. The gap between those two is 2 seconds, so I imagine Dion Stahl must have made a mistake and lost that position. Those two have gapped Nick van Gelder by 8 seconds, but that gap hasn't gone up a whole lot, so that just shows that Nick van Gelder seems to be on the same pace as Dion Stahl and Samuel Brandt. Max Mulder, surprisingly far down the order as the championship leader. He's been definitely the most impressive driver so far this year, but currently only running P5. And I'll keep a look at his lap times, but at the moment he's not lapping a whole lot quicker than his teammates. So maybe this track not quite suiting the Audi. But we're only not even 15 minutes into the race, so it's an endurance race. Anything can happen. We'll keep an eye on Max Mulder though. As we hop on board with Dion Stahl to see what the Dutchman can do to catch back up to Samuel Brandt. Takes a nice line through the long right as Samuel Brandt runs a little bit wide on the curb. I feel like Dion Stahl is braking a lot later than Samuel Brandt in some of those corners. As we can see, the Acura got a little bit unsettled there by the sausage curb. Sausage curb definitely a big topic on this track, as we saw on lap 1 or 2 where Nick van Gelder fell victim to one of the inside sausage curbs and went for a spin into the infield grass. Let's see where Dion Stahl can brake for this turn 1. Just before the 150 meter board. Takes a lot of that inside curb. To go out of the throttle there because he saw that he would go off track otherwise. He carried a little bit more, a lot of speed going into the second apex of the first complex. And he's obviously fighting the dirty air there of the Ferrari from Samuel Brandt. That's Christian Dorman carrying his damage from the crash of Jensen Randall. He's running some 6 seconds a lap slower at the moment than the other drivers on track. So I imagine that he's fighting some suspension damage, as it looks like that car is carrying some suspension damage, but it doesn't seem to be severe enough to for Christian Dorman to go into the pits and fix that damage. So it's going to stay out for the moment. As Jensen Randall continues to struggle. His lap time was a 1 minute 55, so there must have been another mistake there by the Brit. He's not having a good day so far. Oh, we saw Dion Stahl running a little bit wide there going into turn 1. And believe me, that won't be the last time we're going to see someone going wide into turn 1, as we saw on lap 1. Logan around. Keeps running around half a second quicker, at least last lap, than his teammate Sandro Doulis. The question is if that's going to be enough for him with that alternative strategy. He's the only driver I saw, at least, that is running that strategy. He'll be the first one to pit by far, as he's approaching some lap traffic there from Jensen Randall. Closest battle on track at the moment, the two Audis. Mulder running behind Van Gelder. Van Gelder obviously the Season 1 GT3 champion. And Max Mulder, he wants to be the second Audi and the second Dutchman to win this championship. Doesn't look like it's going to be today, but it's early on in the race, anything can happen. But he's the championship leader and definitely in one of the best positions with that big gap in the championship. 12 points he's leading the championship by. Oh, as Dion Starr has gone for a spin. We just saw him flick spinning it back into the right direction. No positions lost there. But you can see he's struggling now as his tires are overheated, and those two Audis are coming. He had that 8-second gap on Nick van Gelder, which he definitely used up now. Looks like he's cooled his tires down now, as he's continuing to drive with regular speed. Nick van Gelder in the slipstream. Moves to the outside. That's not the preferred line going into turn 1. Side by side, and Dion Stahl keeps the position. Yeah, the outside line into turn 1 doesn't really work. If you go defensive and take that inside line away from the car trying to overtake, it's going to be really difficult for the car behind to make that move. As we saw Nick van Gelder take a lot of inside curve. Someone is disconnected. That has been Jensen Randall. And I don't think that has been disconnect. I think that might have been a retirement. As you can see, Nick van Gelder, after making that mistake in turn 2, Max Mulder is now right in his gearbox. I'm quickly checking the driver's onboard streams to see what happened to Jensen Randall. Yeah, it seems like Jensen Randall has indeed retired off the race after making another mistake. So that's a heavyweight out of the race already, and that's probably going to be a dagger in the championship, at least for Jensen Randall. It's not going to be a back-to-back championship for the Mercedes driver. Remember last year he dominated this series. Tough swirl to follow for the Brit. As we keep looking at this, Dutch trio battling it out for P3, the final spot on the podium at the moment. As Logan Aron keeps building up his lead on that alternative strategy, he's currently leading by 16 seconds over his teammate Samuel Brandt in the second Ferrari. The question here still remains, when is Logan going to enter the pits And how much earlier is it going to be than everybody else? I like that strategy all around. If you got pole position, you want to keep that first position. And the only and easiest way to get away from everyone is running a light car, getting away from the pack. Van Gelder remaining behind Dion Stahl, just in that slipstream, but not close enough to make a move. As Dion Stahl runs wide in turn 1 again. Oh, little mistake there by Van Gelder. Running right through the long left-hander of turn 4. Yeah, we can see Jensen Randall in the chat saying that he did retire, and he was just being a hazard on track after the damage, and yeah, just kept on spinning. Fair play, retiring because being a hazard on track. Not everybody does that, so definitely a heads-up move there by Jensen Randall. As far as I know, that's the first retirement in Jensen Randall's GT3 career here in SRL. As Van Gelder is now really close, going through the final corner. Let's see. He does go for the outside again. I don't know if that's going to work. He brakes really late. And he got the inside line. Dion Stahl leaves him space. They're side by side going into turn 3. Oh, the outside line doesn't quite work as Dion Stahl got a little bit tight there at the apex. They are side by side again going to turn 4, but now Dion Stahl got the preferred line. Van Gelder looking for the switchback, but Dion Stahl covers him off. Great racing. And now Van Gelder has to deal with that dirty air of Stahl for the rest of the lap. Just look how that Acura is driving away with that clean air. As Jensen Randall is picking up on the stat I just said, and it's actually the first SRL retirement of Jensen Randall since Japan Season 5 in Formula 1. So that's some 2 years ago. But as we know in motor racing, every streak has to come to an end at some point to start another streak. Max Mulder is just sitting there in P5, looking at this battle. It's difficult to say if Max Mulder is just taking it easy, or is just struggling a little bit in this race. He didn't have a lot of practice for this race, as he had for other races so far this GT3 Championship season. So that might be one of the reasons why he's struggling so far today. But he should get quicker as the race gets on, as he collects some experience on this racetrack. Lap between the leaders is now 20 seconds. As last lap Logan Orand was, yeah, over a second, 1.5 seconds quicker than anybody else on track. Yeah, the fact that those three cars are just separate by minimum 0.6 of a second just shows how difficult it is to follow on this racetrack. Dirty air plays such a big role on this, yeah, tight and twisty racetracks like Oschersleben. And that despite GT3 cars not being that aero sensitive, so... But we're still seeing that effect today. Van Gelder in the slipstream, but he's not close enough to make a move. And you don't want to, yeah, go for a diving move as Dion Star runs off into the gravel, and he can keep it in a straight line and spins off. You had to see it coming. Stahl was on the edge of going off track in that corner multiple times before, and now he's just gone a little bit too far. And going through the gravel, he has no grip. And the Dutchman has gone for a spin and dropped down to P5. That's 2 positions lost for the Acura driver. And that now finally sees Nick van Gelder moving up into P3. As we're approaching the 1 hour mark, so we have 1 hour left in this race. We're 1/3 through this endurance race, as we can see Christian Dorman hopping the inside curb of turn 2 after running wide as well. Christian Dorman now 1 lap down. The two Audi teammates now really close together as Max Mulder has closed down the gap to Nick van Gelder. Those two, by the way, running 11 seconds behind Samuel Brandt in the Ferrari. Christian Dorman definitely holding Nick van Gelder up here a little bit, which is fine. There are no blue flags in endurance racing. He has the right to stay where he is. As he now lets, oh, that was really close there, as he lets Christian Dorman lets Nick van Gelder by. You keep an eye on this battle. As we look at the leader, Logan Orand, going through the quick chicane. Almost half a minute of a lead for the American now. I'd say he got about maybe 7 or 8 laps left on this stint until he possibly runs out of fuel. As we can see, he's staying out for now. So far his strategy has worked an absolute dream. He's built a gap of half a minute, obviously with the lighter car. I mean, we're saying he got a lighter car, but he also got pole by almost a second, so he just seems to have the edge on this racetrack at least. I don't know if he has any previous experience on this track. I know other drivers don't, so that if you do have some experience on this racetrack, that can be a huge advantage here today. The Audi's still close, still racing. Now going onto the main straight, going into turn 1. Will Max Mulder make a dive down the inside of his teammate? I hope he doesn't. That's your teammate. He still has a little look as Nick van Gelder hops the inside curve of turn 2. They're side by side going through turn 3. Max Mulder on the inside makes the move stick on his teammate. He definitely used the mistake of Nick van Gelder there to carry more momentum going to turn 3 and make that move. And now Max Mulder is into P3. Great hard racing between those teammates. Maybe a little too hard for my liking. I mean, they're teammates after all, but hey, we love seeing teammates race as well. I mean, some of the most iconic battles in motorsports happen between teammates, so... You can see Spicy Pumpkin in the live chat wishing everybody good luck. I think I speak for all the drivers, thanking you for that. So far so good. Maybe Jensen Randall would have needed a little bit more luck today, but he's had plenty of that through the last few seasons in F1 and GT3 racing, so I think he'll get over it. Nick van Gelder doesn't want to give up that position though. He stays with Max Mulder. Such an impressive young driver, Max Mulder. He's carried a lot of success through this season. I think he's surprised and impressed a lot of people in SRL. He's currently not only the championship leader, but he's also had some big wins so far in SRL career. He's obviously won the SRL Snowball Derby on Project Cars 2 last season. He scored the SRL Daytona 2.4 hours and won those last season as well. Well, last year, but this GT3 season, obviously that was the GT3 season opener. He won the one-off event at Le Mans at the beginning of this year, the 2.4 hours of Le Mans in the LMP1 cars. Won that race in dominating fashion. So we definitely can crown Max Mulder as being the 2.4 hour endurance racing king of SRL at the moment, at least. He's been dominating this league in the last few endurance races. He's obviously leading the GT3 championship. He's got some SRL podiums as well, 2 of those, as he's improved a lot on the F1 game as well, especially through, especially this season he's made a big step. Can't forget that he's also holding the SRL Indy 500 lap record, which he set last year at that event. And he's still so young. A really young driver, Max Mulder, and already has impressed a lot of people. We'll definitely keep an eye on him for seasons to come. the total opposite from his teammate Nick van Gelder, who got tons and tons of league racing experience. He's won those big championships already. Season 4 in Formula 1 and Season 1 here in GT3 as well. Last few seasons he has been searching for that, for the results, for the success of the past. Obviously, heartbreaking moment for him 2 weeks ago when he lost that win in F1 at the Belgian Grand Prix when he crossed the line first, but got that post-race penalty which dropped him down the order. Heartbreak for him, but knowing Van Gelder, that will only motivate him more going into the next races, and I don't think we'll have to worry about him being motivated to win another race. So I think this might be the last lap on the stint of Logan Around, or maybe he might do another lap. But he's only got 5 liters left in his tank. Also, Dion Star has already picked up 4 seconds worth of time penalties. We have to keep that in mind for, the finish of this race. I see a few people ask now why it's me being up here in the booth doing commentary today. Me being Sandro Brandt, yeah, right. Me being Sandro Doulis. Obviously, you guys know me from being on the racetrack in those cars racing. Obviously, this season for the Acura team. Unfortunately, our commentator, which you guys know as Scott, has had a working schedule change, which unfortunately makes it impossible for him being a full-time commentator. So I decided I'll step up and commentate the last 3 races of the championship. So I have to watch everybody else driving, which isn't the easiest thing to do. Trust me, I'd much rather be on the racetrack right now. But the season so far for me in GT3 has been quite difficult, so it's fine doing commentary, I guess. But yeah, the right foot is itching. I'd like to be out there, but yeah, I'm here now with you guys. Commentating this race is definitely also fun. Looking at the race from an outside perspective. Going to the Formula 1 races, I can't do that. I can't commentate on the Formula 1 races. I just love racing too much to do that. We'll have to look to find a solution for who to commentate the final 10 races, I think it is, in F1 for the remainder of the season. Maybe you can find an outsider. If you guys know someone, always let us know. You can DM us on Instagram, send us an email, whatever, links are down below in the description. Just write a comment. Hey, we're reading those. As we can see, the leader Logan Oran now pitting with about 50 minutes to go. He goes into the pits, and let's see how much fuel he gets. He's definitely run that tank out. He got 1 liter left. The pit lane speed limit, 60 kph only. So painful, as we can Jensen Reynolds' car being in the garage. This will now hand the lead over to his teammate Sandro Doulis, but only for now. We'll see when the other drivers pit on the other strategy. For now, Sandro takes the lead. Logan O'Ron still in his pit box. He'll drop down to P3 as Max Mulder, championship leader, goes by. So does Nick van Gelder. Logan O'Ron is taking a lot of fuel here. 70 liters and he's off. Exiting the pit box now. Dion Stahl will fly past them, so Logan O'Ron will drop down to P5. I feel like it's getting really foggy out there on track. The weather has definitely changed from the overcast and slightly sunny conditions at the race start. As Logan O'Ron comes out back on the racetrack about a second behind the actual of Dion Stahl. As Dion Stahl runs a little bit wide there onto the grass. And he's off again. Hops over the alternative layout there. And that's an easy position gain for Logan O'Ron. If he can gain all positions easily as that, there's no doubt, in my opinion, that he'll get back into that lead. But for now, it's his teammate Brad leading. It's getting really foggy. Wow. That's a difficult situation for the drivers. Obviously, visibility being an issue is not something you want in a race car going 250 kilometers per hour. I don't think Logan O'Ron will pick up another car until the pit stops, because the gap now to Max Mulder is over 20 seconds. So if there are no mistakes made, I don't think that Logan O'Ron will have to make another move here before the pit stop of the other drivers. Well, then again, when will those pit stops be? That's the big question. Man, it's difficult to find the cars in all the fog. As Christian Doman goes for a spin, he's obviously still fighting that damage on his McLaren. Let's hop on board with him to see how bad the damage is, how difficult it is to handle that car. Oh, he's definitely fighting a lot of understeer. You could see through the final turn, the car didn't want to stick at all. Oh, we missed the pass for P2, as Max Mulder has gone by Nick van Gelder. There's a big gap between those two, so I imagine Nick van Gelder might have made a mistake. And now, championship leader Max Mulder up to P2. And only 13 seconds behind his championship rival, Samuel Brandt. Who I might add is right now the only driver that could still beat Max Mulder in the championship, obviously after Jensen Randall retired off the race. As Max Mulder is flicking with the lights. Don't know what he's trying to tell us. on board with Samuel Brandt, with the helmet camera, moving through the fog of Oschersleben. Wow, the visibility is really, really poor. Absolutely not what you want. But these drivers have gone through a lot of diversity in this championship. They've fought some really difficult conditions, weather conditions that is. I mean, if we just look back at Daytona, the first race of the season, when drivers even had to fight some snow at the beginning of the race. Yeah, snow in Florida. Crazy, right? So these drivers definitely have experience in poor weather conditions. As we see Sam Brandt staying out on track, not pitting. Logan around. His pace is stunning. I mean, yes, he got those fresh tires, but his car at this point is heavier than everybody else. But he's running 130s. That's 2 seconds quicker than the leaders. So yeah, we've been talking strategy a lot, but I think just with outright speed, Logan around is simply unbeatable today. I know it hasn't been a lot, but Max Mulder is slowly creeping in there on Samuel Brandt. So is Nick van Gelder, as we saw a big tank slapper there by Max Mulder. The gap to Brandt has closed down by, yeah, a second over the last 2 laps. We've got 40 minutes to go. That's definitely doable, especially for the pit stop phase. It's impossible to disconnect those 2 Audis from each other. They've been together all race long, moving through the field. As race leader Samuel Brandt has now entered the pits. There he is. And Max Mulder is also entering the pits. Nick van Gelder is staying out for the moment. So we got Brandt pitting and Mulder pitting. Nick van Gelder for now remains on the racetrack. He'll stay out a little longer. We'll see by how much. Logan Around has already moved past Mulder and Brandt up into P2. Brandt exited his pit box, obviously way ahead of Mulder. The gap but before the pit stop was 11 seconds. Stahl goes now Now goes by start finish and picks up P3 for now. Somewhere in that fog is Van Gelder. There he is. And these are some terrible racing conditions. As Van Gelder goes off. He had to cut the quick chicane there. Hop through the gravel trap. Gap between Brandt and Mulder has gone up. It was 11 seconds. It's now more like 14, 16. As Van Gelder, the race leader, now goes in the pits. And that will hand the lead back over to Logan Orand. There he is. Difficult to see, I know. The gap between Orand and Brandt after the pit stop seems to be 21 seconds. So Orand has lost a little bit of time through the pit stop phase, but it's only been a little bit. His gap was up to around half a minute. It's down to 21 seconds, so that's 9 seconds lost. That's fine though, especially with the pace that Logan Orand has shown today. That won't be an issue. Dion Stahl stays out for now. Van Gelder drops back down the order. Will he come out ahead of his teammate Mulder though? Mulder now going to start finish straight. Van Gelder is exiting the pits at the moment. There's the speed limiter. He goes out now. There's Mulder. There's Van Gelder, and Van Gelder comes out behind Mulder. Just about. Those Audis can't be separated today. Van Gelder has to look out for those cold tires. Talk about cold tires. Mulder goes off into the gravel. He caught that oversteer moment. Didn't go for a spin, but had to take a little trip for the gravel there. And Mulder's now dropped to P5. I was just mentioning cold tires for Van Gelder, but it was Mulder who made the mistake. So Mulder now down to P5. It will be P4 when the pit stops get cleared, so that's only Dion Stahl being left out on track without pitting. Some 18 seconds behind Logan Orand. There he is, the Dutchman. Could this be his first podium of the season? Oh, he goes for a spin. I just jinxed him. Stahl gotta be more careful through that turn to inside curb. That's the second spin, as far as I know at least. That inside curb just unsets the car enough to, yeah, get you into some oversteer that is basically impossible to catch and correct, especially in those cold conditions with those cold tires. So that now puts Samuel Brown back into P2, which means the Ferrari 1-2 is back. Last lap, Orand and Brandt 3 seconds apart. Orand 3/10 apart, my bad. Orand running 30.3, Brandt to 30.6. Having a little look here on the leaderboard. As we can see on the right hand side, those are the penalties. So we got 1 second for Brandt, 6 seconds for Dion Stahl, which is crucial for the end of this race. Van Gelder with 2. The other drivers are without a penalty. Christian Dormont, that's Bengal 300 and P6, currently 2 laps down. Everybody else is on the lead lap at the moment. On board with Max Mulder, P5 at the moment, championship leader. Oh, off moment there for Mulder, as he completely missed the apex. Not a lot of time lost. He just took a quick trip through the gravel, but definitely not something you want to do too many times, because it's just always a really big risk. If you go off through the grass, you can always easily lose it, as we've seen earlier from I think Dion Stahl it was, when he went off in turn 2. Right there on the outside, on the right hand side of the track. Gap between the two Audis in P4 and P5 currently is 6 seconds. Make that 4, as the deltas seem to be moving quite quickly. Too quickly for me to mention. Christian Dorman, P6. I don't know who that is behind him. It might actually be race leader Logan Orand. Yeah, it is, to put him 3 laps down in a moment. But anyway, it's good to see Christian Dorman still sticking into this race. In these endurance races, it's impossible, runs off track and Logan Orand puts him 3 laps down. It doesn't matter how much damage you have, but in these endurance races, as long as you are not a hazard on track, which Jensen Randall apparently was, that's why he retired early on, he said. If you're not a hazard on track and you got some damage, just complete the laps and finish the race. If you do that, you always got a chance of, yeah, scoring some points, maybe moving up some positions. This is endurance racing after all. As Dion Stahl is in the pits, and he'll drop down to P5. The gap between the two leaders, the two Ferraris, remains at around 22 seconds, around just being around 3 or 4 tenths quicker a lap than Brandt. Oh, Dion Stahl exits the pits just next to leader Orand. So Dion Stahl now also 1 lap down. I'll quickly have to leave the commentary box for a second here and get myself something to drink. I'll be back in a minute. So, excuse me for a little off, I'm back. And it doesn't look like we've missed anything. The gap between the leaders at least has gone up by another second, as we've entered the final half an hour of this race. It's a lot quicker than it actually is. It's 1.5 hours. Logan Rand has dominated this race as he's entering his 44th lap of this race. The battle with between Max Mulder and Nick van Gelder has gotten a little bit closer now. As Max Mulder has closed that 4-second deficit over the last few laps. He seems to be quicker at this point. He just got to keep it more consistent in order to get that position. Now the question I'm asking myself, if this would be the order, the order going into the final lap, wouldn't Nick van Gelder let Max Mulder by for the championship? I know Max Mulder and Nick van Gelder get along really well and they're really good teammates, but a podium is a podium, and oh, Max Mulder goes for a spin. That's exactly what I was talking about. He seems to be quicker, but he's just making mistakes as he took too much of the inside curb through turn 1, and that cost him about, another 3 seconds. Man, he gotta keep it clean. Yeah, what I was trying to say, the point I was trying to make was Nick van Gelder is a really competitive guy, and I don't know if he would give up that podium to Max Mulder in order to help Max Mulder in the championship. Especially considering that Max Mulder's lead in the championship is quite large, so will be interesting to see. But for now, Max Mulder gotta catch back up. Yeah, we can see Max Mulder lost 3 seconds last lap. Due to that spin, he ran 34.6. Apart from Christian Dorman, who probably still got that damage, that's the slowest car by around 3 seconds. Last lap at least. The gap between Brandt and Orant has now gone up to 26 seconds, so Logan Orant is consistently being a little bit quicker here than his teammate. It would be Orant's first win of the season. He's had 2 podiums for the first 2 races this season, but both of them were P3 finishes. And he had 2 retirements at Nürburgring and at Spa for 2 weeks ago, the last race, when he had that massive crash going up the hill to Rouge, when he flipped his Ferrari into the air and also got collected by 2 other drivers. Max Mulder has lost another half a second last lap on Nick van Gelder. That without a mistake. So it seems like Van Gelder possibly has picked up the pace as well a little bit towards the end of this race. We got just under 20 minutes to go. As we see the cars flicking through the quick left-right chicane, through the fog. This lap, it's 5/10 gain for Max Mulder, so the gap is just moving between around 2 or 3 seconds between those two. It's the closest battle on track, so we'll stay on this battle for the moment. We'll hop on board with Nick van Gelder here. Go with the helmet cam to see what the Dutchman is doing inside the cockpit. Love this camera angle. Through the tight infield section of this racetrack. You have to keep it really tight through some of those corners. Obviously, in those what seems like cold conditions on this racetrack, tire overheating isn't that big of an issue, but if it would be fully sunny, it's going to be so hard on those left hand side tires, because most corners are going towards the right, especially through the second sector, and those are really long corners, so the car keeps pushing to the outside, and those outside tires get a full load, which is which easily can overheat those tires, and that leads into what? Exactly, spins. So that's not what you want in endurance racing. Max Mulder has gotten a lot closer on the last lap to Nick van Gelder. Can already taste some of that slipstream now. As he gets even closer there in the braking zone. But he was there 4 laps ago already and made a mistake. Can he keep it clean now? Oh, we made the move down the inside through the long right as Nick van Gelder goes off into the grass. That caught me off guard. Nick van Gelder just made a little mistake, and Nick van Gelder and my bad, pardon me. Max Mulder used that opportunity to get past his teammate. Up into P3, podium position for the Dutchman. Now the question is, can he keep it clean and not make any mistakes in order to keep that P3 at the moment at least? He got that P3 with about a 1 second gap. Well, let's say half a second gap to Nick van Gelder. Van Gelder is close. Will he make a move going into turn 1? He doesn't. He's a little bit too far away. We'll stay on board here with Van Gelder as the sun is shining through the fog. Haven't seen the sun in ages, I feel like. Oh, a little bit of grass there from Van Gelder. You could hear it on the onboard camera. A little bit of oversteer on the exit, you can see him corrected. Van Gelder won a driver with great reflexes. So Van Gelder's definitely got the ability to drive a loose race car. Got really quick hands. I think that's what he prefers as well. Well, that's something that most racing drivers prefer. It's just a loose car. You hate to fight some understeer. A quick car usually oversteers, as Max Moller went a little bit wide there into turn 1. Nick van Gelder has a look down the inside. Oh, it's almost contact as they go side by side through turn 3. Max Moller now with the preferred line going into turn 4. Oh, van Gelder can't make the outside work and just pushes towards the outside of the racetrack into the grass. There again. But the battle remains close. Gap at the front, consistently building up. It's now 30 seconds, half a minute. As Van Gelder is in the gearbox of his teammate. But there's no way he can make a move through that, infield section. There are no overtaking opportunities as long as your opponent doesn't make a mistake. "12 minutes left in this race, 12 minutes left for this battle. Two great friends off track, teammates on track, but opponents. As there's some contact made as they move past the lap car of Christian Dorman. They're now side by side going into T1. Van Gelder on the outside. It's really difficult to make the outside line work. Max Moller runs a little bit wide, covers that Van Gelder off. Van Gelder going for the switchback move now. That's exactly what happened last lap. Max Moller a little bit further in front. Last lap, the outside didn't work from Van Gelder. Will it work this time? It doesn't. Great defensive work there by Max Moller. Covering the inside line into turn 1 is key. Once again, Van Gelder takes a really tight line through that section of the racetrack, but there's just no way you can make a move through the infield section. You just have to wait for that start finish straight, as Nick van Gelder has done on this lap, and he's yet even closer this lap. Got a great exit off the final corner, took a really tight line on the exit in the slipstream. Now he got the inside line. Max Moller left the inside open for Van Gelder. Van Gelder now on the inside. Can he get it done? Max Moller is still there. He kept it on the outside. Now got the inside line for the next corner. And he keeps the position. Van Gelder running a little bit wide there. Kills the camera. Van Gelder on the inside. They make some contact under braking. Max Moller on the outside line. It's a longer way around, but you can carry much more momentum. They make some more contact going into the triple left. Max Moller still ahead. Fantastic racing. On board with Van Gelder again. Through the quick chicane. We've been talking about this battle all the time. What I forgot is, does any one of those two have penalties, as Van Gelder is having a look in the slipstream? There's no way he can make it here, right? No, he can't. Van Gelder got 2 seconds worth of penalties, Mulder 1 second. So if Van Gelder passes Mulder, he needs to build up a gap of at least a second in order to keep that position. Final corner. Van Gelder not as close as he was last lap. I think still close enough to try something. He's in the slipstream. Mulder trying to break the slipstream. Van Gelder Stays behind for now. Probably wisely chosen. Stay away from the inside curb. Good job. And wait for the next lap. Angela has been struggling a little bit through the last few corners. Seems like that, yeah, that dirty air is definitely hurting him. He's lost, I'd say, about 2/10 possibly this lap so far. With all this battling and the mistakes those two have made, P2 has gone off the window for both of them. Sammy Brandt is half a minute ahead of those two. So, if nothing goes wrong, and I don't want to put commentator's curse on them, but this is looking a lot like a Ferrari 1-2. Same all as it was on the race start after qualifying. Last lap, Max Mulder, 6/10 quicker than Van Gelder, and you can see it because the gap is built up. As Van Gelder missed his chance to take this position. Jon Stahl has just made his way into the pits. Here we can see the Dutchman. I haven't talked about him in quite a while. After his 2 spins, he's definitely dropped out of the picture a little bit. And that's just the season that the Acura guys, myself and Stahl, have had so far. We'd love to know the reasoning why the Acura has, been so difficult this season, but it's just impossible to tell. Just lacking so much pace, and it's so annoying and difficult to understand that car, because there's no way you can understand where the pace has gone after last season. It's consistently 2 seconds slower a lap than it was last year, and the setup hasn't changed. So yeah, really tough season for Jon Stahl and myself so far. And Max Mulder has made his mistake somewhere because Van Gelder is there and he hasn't looked down the inside into this corner. I didn't think it was possible to make a pass there. Next corner is the preferred line, they make contact. Both keep it on the racetrack, that's important. But Nick Van Gelder is there again. And he's there for the start finish straight. He's in the slipstream. Will he make a move? He's running out of opportunities. He only got around 3 laps left. He brakes really late, but Max Mulder brakes late as well. Even almost misses the corner. Takes a really tight line there through turn 2. Max Mulder lets the inside open. Nick Van Gelder has a look and he moves a little bit wide there. Max Mulder with the switchback move. Max Mulder still in front. He's playing this extremely well. as Van Gelder tried to have a look down the inside into the long left, but Mulder covered the inside and Van Gelder runs off track. Wow, okay. Max Mulder with a defensive masterclass at the final stages of this race. Looking a little bit like a young Cameron Weston Edwards out here. A little bit wide there for Max Mulder. That cost him a lot of time. Van Gelder is there again. Final corner. Same game. Van Gelder is closer this time though. Look how he gets a great exit out of the final corner. He does that really, really well. Outside line for Van Gelder. Max Mulder covers the inside line. Van Gelder breaks a little later. Mulder covers him off though. He runs wide again though. And Van Gelder goes by. If you take that really, really tight entry into turn 2, you're gonna run wide on exit. And that has happened too many times for Max Mulder. And this time there was no way he could come back at Van Gelder. And Van Gelder is up into P3 now. Mulder has a look down the inside. Not enough. You gotta wait for the start finish straight. It's not going to be championship day yet for Max Mulder. He at least gotta wait another 2 weeks. Two minutes left in this race. I don't think the final word has been said in this battle between the two Audis. Mulder too far behind. Can't make an overtake attempt this lap. Gap between the leaders, 35 seconds. Nothing is going to change there. Logan Aron keeps setting fastest lap of the race. Max Mulder has a look down the inside of Van Gelder again. He does exactly what Van Gelder has done the last few laps on Mulder. Just the other way around. Van Gelder has Mulder go the long way around. But that gives Mulder a great exit. They're side by side going to triple left. They both keep it. Nobody wants to yield. And it's Van Gelder with some grass. Next corner is Van Gelder's. Mulder is still there. Van Gelder stays in front. Yeah, scrap what I said at the beginning of the race. Overtaking, battling, difficult on this track. Yes, it's difficult, but battling is fantastic. But remember, Van Gelder has to build a 1 second gap because Max Mulder got the 1 second time penalty. We'll swap over to the leader, Logan Orant. As he's on the final lap of his race. Mulder is still there. But if he's clever, he stays where he is because he just needs to stay behind Van Gelder and he'll get the position. And it's the final corner for Logan Orant. He's been dominant. He's been absolutely masterful here today. It hasn't been the season he wanted so far, but today he's going to be victorious. Logan Orant wins at Oschersleben. And Max Mulder and Van Gelder are side by side. It's the final lap for them as well. Van Gelder covers off Max Mulder. Max Mulder doesn't need to do it. Van Gelder has a look down the inside though, as Van Gelder has made a mistake. Mulder's down the inside. Van Gelder runs off the track into the grass. I don't quite understand because Van Gelder, Mulder didn't have to make a move. Van Gelder has 4 seconds worth of time penalties. But let's talk about the Ferrari boys. Sam Arndt taking a P2 finish. I think he'll be happy with that. He stays in the championship fight against Max Mulder, makes up a point, heading into the final 2 races of the season. The 2 Audi boys, they couldn't be separated all race long, but I think they finally have to settle for their positions. And it's going to be championship leader Max Mulder winning the battle of the 2 Audis. He'll come home in P3, considering he didn't have any practice. Nick van Gelder hasn't looked down the inside for the final corner. It doesn't matter though, he got penalties. And Max Mulder will take the final spot on the podium and take a great P3 finish. So this is our final result. Logan Aron takes his first race win of the season ahead of his teammate Samuel Brandt in second, so it's a Ferrari 1-2. Then it's Max Mulder, championship leader, in third, ahead of his teammate Nick van Gelder. Dion Stahl was running well early on, made a few mistakes, he's fifth. Christian Dorman picked up some damage with a crash with Jensen Randall. He finishes sixth, and only retirement of the day is going to be Jensen Randall, who had to park his Mercedes. So there will be no race next weekend, off weekend, as we all want to enjoy the real-life F1 season opener at Bahrain. We'll be back the week after for Formula 1 racing at Baku. I hope I'll see you guys there. I'm not sure who will be in the booth. It won't be me, but we'll see. Leave a like if you enjoyed this race. Subscribe to the channel to see more SRL League racing. We got a lot of great racing in this league going on. F1 racing, GT3 racing, Indy 500 coming this June. I hope you enjoyed this race. Check out the links down below in the description. SRL Instagram channel. Always stay updated with the latest news, highlights and results. Also check out our SRL League website. The link is down below in the description. I've been Sandro, and I'm going to see you next time. Goodbye.